What it is, Igshaan Samsudin here, and welcome to the first episode of the Benefit Continuum podcast, or the BC podcast for short. And the purpose of this podcast is to get the information, the knowledge, and the wisdom from the people who have it to the people who need it. Now, the people who have it would be the people that I want to get onto the show and interview them and spend some time with them, get them to share their story, etc., based on their expertise, And then the people who need it would be myself as the listener of the person or of the guest on the show, and then yourself, the audience. You guys would be the people who need it. And what I would like to call you, if you okay with it, I would like to call you and myself the beneficiaries of this podcast, because like a lot of podcasters like to give their audience a name or nickname or pet name, whatever you want to call it. And what I would like to call you is the beneficiaries, because it ties in so well also with the name of the podcast, Benefit Continuum. So we're the beneficiaries of the knowledge that the people of the guests that come onto the show, of their knowledge, that they share with us. And the main topics of the show that I wanna talk about, it's the things that most interest me, which is Islamic finance, business, and life. Now, when I say Islamic finance, I'm talking about the real basics of Islamic finance, because there's a huge gap in knowledge, and I'm specifically talking about in South Africa because this is where I'm from. So there's a huge gap in knowledge when it comes to Islamic finance, and so just driving awareness about the fact that Islamic finance exists, Islamic finance products and services exist, and to talk to these experts in the field, the professionals in the field or the scholars in the field about Islamic finance, the basics, just to give clarity and more information around where Islamic finance comes from, what's its roots in the Sharia, and then talking to professionals to talk about what are the services, what are the products and services that are available to the Muslim community that they can make use of in their day-to-day lives to do their finances in a way that is pleasing to the Almighty. That's and the only way I believe that we're going to get to that space is if we drive awareness to talk about what are the banks offering, what are the investment houses offering, what are the insurance companies offering, how do you operate your day-to-day life in the shopping malls or wherever you go in a way that is Sharia compliant, how do you spend money, what is money, what is considered money in Islam, etc., or in the Sharia. So I want to explore these topics. When I'm talking about business, I'm talking about entrepreneurship and career-driven people. These people have stories to share, right? And in these stories, they go through struggles, or, they have huge success. And what I want to do is, the thing that interests me most about entrepreneurship or entrepreneurs and career-driven people is how they got to where they are today. Because somewhere along the line in that story, there are things that we can learn from them. We might be entrepreneurs and we're stuck somewhere in our business, and you listen to a story, you listen to the life story of one entrepreneur, and you're like, whoa, that's where I am. That's where I'm currently stuck. That's how he did it. Maybe that's how she did it. I'm going to try that in my business and see what it does for me. So that's the benefit of listening to these people's stories. That's one of the benefits. Then there's people who are career driven, and they are building themselves up in a company, and they reach the top levels of the company, COO, CEO, etc. But they started from the bottom, and there are some amazing stories out there, and I want to talk to these people to look at where did they start, what did they do to climb the ranks, because there are a lot of youth that is coming out of school, going to university, studying something. Sometimes they don't even know what to study. So perhaps listening to these stories of the people that are building careers, successful careers within companies, perhaps there's something in there that you can take benefit from. If you're the father or you're the mother or the parent of the child, and you listening to this podcast and you feel, what, this person that came on the podcast, and you're listening to them, that this is beneficial to my child, then bonus for you that there is something beneficial for your child in this podcast as well, and you can then take that and share it with him. Sometimes your child want to become a doctor, they want to become an accountant, they want to become a lawyer, but they don't know what it takes to become successful in that field. Listening to these success stories, inshallah, could open up the door to the knowledge that is required to reach that same kind of success. Because on one of my favorite podcasts, they like this, the guy likes to say that if you want to get to a certain place in your career, then find someone who has already done it, carbon copy them or do what they've done, and 10 times to 1, 9 times out of 10, you are going to reach the same level of success as they did, because you're doing the exact same things. So here's where mentorship comes in as well, and which I feel is very important as well, but that's a different topic. So, and when I talk about life, I'm talking about motivation, I'm talking about things that can improve a person's life, whether it be spiritually, whether it be fitness, whether it be mentally. Those are the three things that interest me the most: spiritually, mentally, and physically. So when you're talking about life, we're looking at daily habits. What do you do to make sure that your life is operating in a certain way, at a certain level, etc.? What are the things that you are doing to stay healthy? What are the things that you are doing to stay to keep your mental state in a good state? That's a very big thing, a very big topic in nowadays, and how that filters into your business, into your family life, into your social life, etc. So these three topics, which is Islamic finance, business, and life, these are the three topics that interest me the most. And the people that I want to interview on my show would be people that are experts in these fields. I would like to be able to talk to them, to share their story, and to give us some guidelines as to how we can then improve our lives. So if these are the topics that interest you, then please subscribe to the channel, share it with your family, your friends, because I'm going to be interviewing a lot of the people here in the Western Cape. I'm starting here. I might find myself in Joburg or wherever else in South Africa, but I'm starting in the Western Cape because this is where I'm at. So I'm going to be talking to scholars, I'm going to be talking to business people, entrepreneurs, I'm going to be talking to career-driven people, life coaches, sportsmen, etc. Everybody that can be of benefit to you as the audience. Firstly to myself, because I'm starting this podcast because I'm wanting to build real connections with people, real life connections, and learn from people and see how we can benefit from each other, and how we can take their experiences, take it to the public, so that we can use that information to benefit the public, so that they can become better human beings at the end of the day. That's partly one of the reasons why I started this podcast. The biggest reason, if I'm really thinking about it, the biggest reason I'm starting this podcast is because I attended it's a bit of a side note, but I attended a Islamic Finance Conference back in 2022, and on the stage there were bankers, there were CEOs of all the banks, the Islamic banks in South Africa, and there were investment specialists, there were insurance specialists, there were financial planners, there were some international scholars that were there as well. And one of the main messages that came out from that stage is the reason why our industry, Islamic finance, is not growing that much is there's a lack of awareness. There is a lack of awareness with the public, that they don't even know that these options are available. And to me, it's so important because we need to get our people out of it. We need to get out of riba. We need to get out of interest. And the only way you can get out of interest is through education, understanding the systems at hand, the systems of the economy and what is available out there in the market for us. And to determine how something is Sharia compliant is not always an easy thing for everybody. In fact, there's a lot of misconceptions. There is a lot of misunderstanding. Some people say, what's the difference between profit and interest? It all looks the same. They're just calling it a different name. Especially on the bank's website, you'll see like 14% interest when you're calculating a bond repayment. And they say, there's no difference because it looks the same. They're just calling it profit, but it's actually interest. This is what people, the lay person is saying that's looking at this website. And because of that, it deters them from actually taking on that, because they're saying, it's not Sharia compliant. My thing is, what's the alternative? What's the alternative? You're going to go indulge in riba. You're going to buy a house on riba. You're going to buy a car with riba. You're going to buy a phone with riba, etc. And that's not ideal for us as Muslims. But anyway, that's just a side note. That's one of the reasons why I'm starting this, is to the mission is to get our people educated so that they can take themselves out of riba, inshallah. So if these are the things that interest you, if these are the topics that interest you, then please subscribe, share with the family, share with your friends, like the video because it helps with the YouTube algorithm, etc. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. The next video is going to be, the upcoming video is going to be with one of my mentors. We're going to be talking about how to finance your way to Jannah. So you can keep your eye out for that, inshallah. And until next time, peace.